What's up, everybody? My name is Bryce, aka DubsNotSubs, and welcome back to another video. It has been a long time. Yeah, it's been a little bit, a little spaced out. I took a little bit of a break away from videos, so we'll see how long I decide to come back and stay on here for this, but I'm excited to be back here. I really missed making videos. I really was something that I really enjoyed doing, and I can't wait to be able to make more of these and hopefully continue down this path of more video creation as this time goes on. But today we have one of the most brutal mangas I've read for a while. Now, there are very brutal mangas that are done for the sake of being brutal, but I think this has that refined taste to that brutality that's going on. There's a nice story on this, betrayals on every end. You don't know who to trust. All this stuff is crazy. It is an absolutely insane story. Now, the story I am talking about is Kingdom of Ruin. Now, without further ado, let's get into this fantastic series. Now, Kingdoms of Ruin is a story that is based in a fantasy world where we have been governed by witches for millennia, for a long time. God created the witches to guide us, protect us, and to show us the right way and to love all mankind. That is their purpose. But what happens is we end up in a futuristic society where humankind decides that they no longer need witches. Science has progressed farther than witches could, and we no longer need them because they are holding us back for now, and we don't need them anymore. Now, in comes Adonis and Chloe. Now, Adonis is the witch's apprentice to Chloe, who is the ice witch, and she is one of the most powerful witches out there, and they are on a journey of trying to run away and get away from the kingdom of Radius. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But as this goes on, we end up having them getting caught. This is all within the first chapter, so this really isn't spoilers. So they end up getting caught. They end up having the king himself come out. It's not like anybody else comes out. It is like, he's not like hiding in the back, having other people do his dirty work. It is him himself comes out. I gotta respect the, thing. If you're gonna do it, have a huge genocide, be a man and at least come out and participate in your own genocide. Don't be a pussy about it. And he comes out there, takes a basically a futuristic 347, puts it up to Chloe's head, and kills her. Now, this sparks Adonis, who was in love with Chloe, to want to exact revenge on all of mankind and has his mind made up to basically destroy all of mankind. What they end up doing, instead of killing him because Chloe begged for him to be able to live, they put him in prison for eternity, a life sentence. Now, what happens is we get to go basically, I think it's about 100 years later on, don't quote me exactly, but basically farther in the future, something like that. He is still trapped in this cage of forever, eternal imprisonment, and we get to meet a new character called Doroka. Now, she is someone who we don't really know is going on. So we get to see them all in the slave trade thing that is happening, and she ends up getting brought up to the person who is in charge of the whole management of the slave thing, and she decides that she's going to free everybody out there after a huge thing of circumstances, and ends up not only freeing the slaves but also freeing Adonis. Now, this sparks him to be able to finally exact his revenge and be able to go on his revenge for mankind. Now, that is all I'm going to give you guys, just so you guys don't have a lot of spoilers for it or too much of spoilers. For this story, it's absolutely insane. It is so graphic. It is brutal. When I'm talking about the brutal stuff, man, it is crazy. It's on that Berserk level, not Death Tube level, but it is a nice you can pretty much tell what's going on. And it's one of the parts that really threw me off was when they end up killing Chloe, obviously in a public execution. We end up actually getting to see the bullets impact curve her face and stuff like that, and that's not usually shown in manga. Usually it's just the blood splatter and the reaction from the character that they're trying to put this huge amount of pain onto. So to be able to actually see how the bullet in slow motion crushes her, it's so horrific and just mind-bogglingly graphic, and you wouldn't really tell. The reason I ended up picking up this manga was because it looks like the same characters from Signs of the Abyss. If you guys ever ended up reading that on Manga Plus, I was like, oh, that looks kind of neat, and then I flipped through it real quick and I was like, huh, this looks really dark. And for some reason, I've been very much into the dark fantasy series for it. Right now, there are 3 volumes in total out, and looks to be a 4th one coming soon. I don't know how long this has been running for, or how many volumes there are going to be, or if it's still in continuation or not. I don't know the exact details from it, but all I know is it is absolutely amazing. Now, the story itself, you know, it kind of has that basic revenge. You killed the person I love, and you have this persecution on witches, and all this kind of, well, not persecution on witches isn't really a basic story point, but you get my point. It's like, mankind's being a douchebag again. We do it. It's my bad, you know, things happen, and you know, so he decides to exact his revenge. Now, this way he does it is really kind of crazy. He's like, I've figured out the most effective way of doing it. And basically, he ends up causing an earthquake, ends up summoning a giant mech, pretty much. And there's at a certain point where he takes a bullet, pretty much manipulates it to grow, like, I would say about 1,000 times its original size or something like that, and shoots it back at somebody and just obliterates them. It's amazing. It's so over the top and crazy and just, like, really entertaining for it. So I really love how it is in that aspect, and I really am enjoying the actual action part of this. And now, after the first 2 volumes, I'm on to volume 3 right now. So far I finished volumes 1 and 2 at the moment. So I haven't got into volume 3. And it seems that we're now going to get into, like, the more slower build-up part. Volumes 1 and 2 are really, like, if you're going to know it, you're going to like this series in the first 2 volumes. Because it's very much showing you the main plot, main characters, how they're going to act, what's going to go on with this, and how the story is going to really feel and progress. So if you want to get a good idea, I would say the first 2 volumes are a very good telling way of knowing if you want to check out this series. And within this story, it is very much where you think you know how it's going to play out. It very much feels like you know how it's going to, you know, what the next steps are, what Adonis is going to do, how he's going to end up doing it, and you really start to think that you know what's going on. But along the way, and at least within the first 2 volumes, there have been a couple things where I'm like, okay, that's a little bit different than what I expected. And, you know, it throws it off, especially one very big plot twist that you don't expect to happen within the story that I'm not going to spoil for you guys because it's a very major one. And 2, actually, that I would say that kind of along the same lines when you learn about them at the same time, and you get to see about everything that's going to end up happening within the world, and you get to see really, like, the main end game for a lot of this stuff, and it looks really, really good, and it has a great setup and a great continuation onto it. Now, like I said, for the art, I'm not going to go into much more about it, besides that the brutality of it is so graphic. It is so morbid at certain parts, and things like the torture scenes to, like, the death scenes and different things like this are absolutely insane. Like, when we get to see him, Adonis, sorry, I pronounced it wrong, first out of the lockup that he was in, he goes off. That man goes ham and just starts laying waste to everything. And it is absolutely crazy. It's catastrophic, and the art reflects it perfectly. It is such a fun, engaging art style, and it works so well for the story. It's the perfect amount of, like, cute and dark, and it has a nice, really twisted combination for it. Now, the villain of the series are humankind for the most part. I haven't really seen where there's going to be any people in the human race that are really going to help the witches, or the witch Adonis and the other witch Daruka in their quest or anything like that. So we'll see what ends up happening with that, if we're going to end up seeing good humans or if they're all just going to be bad and douchebags. And then we have the King of Redanos, who is basically your main baddie in this, and Adonis's goal to kill and exact his revenge on, along with taking down mankind. And that's kind of how it's going. He's trying to go and kill the king, and we get to see how he ends up panning out. And he also has the princess, the queen beside him, who seems to be having a major part in this war, more than what we've seen, and it just seems to be hinted at very strongly. So we're going to end up seeing how that entire thing ends up panning out, and I can't wait to see how it ends up turning out. And I know right now with how my hair split down the middle, that I end up also looking like a douchebag villain from every generic isekai, and there's nothing I can do. My hair's too long, it's going everywhere, and it's falling apart. I'm getting a haircut next Monday. Don't judge me. I do really look like every generic, like, isekai villain ever, though. Like, the douchebag rich kid or whatever is like, how could you do this? You offended me. Overall, this story is extremely solid. I really recommend it if you like your action, drama, fantasy types of series. It really fills that hole that I really wanted for this type of show. It does give off a Berserk vibe. I don't know if it's gonna have that like meaning and like feeling inside of it that it does, but it really seems to be giving off that kind of vibe. Oh, you're wondering about my shirt. Well, I'm glad you asked. That is the actual shirt from my new fall collection on vigilantapparel.net. Yes, I own an apparel company, and I just segued into an ad. So, Vigilant Apparel is my company, is a streetwear company made in the city of Rockford, where I'm from, so I wanted to do an homage to some of the stuff in there is specifically for Rockford, but mainly we are a streetwear company. We have a bunch of new stuff coming out with our fall collection, and we're in talks with a lot of different people, doing some special stuff. I'm not going to give too many details away. I'm just saying that big things are coming for your boy, and I'm really excited to be able to venture on with this and get to discover new things. Now, this collection, or this piece right here, is called All Eyes on Me, and this is basically a piece talking about, you know, standing out. Instead of being in the shadows like these red eyes, you're standing out in that spotlight and speaking up for yourself and doing your own thing, no matter what the judgment and what cost it takes. And a lot of my shirts, actually every single one of my shirts, all have a meaning behind it, because that's kind of the message behind the entire clothing brand. It is all about, there's a message behind every design, and there's a meaning behind everything for that, because the brand motto or slogan is to be able to promote awareness socially, politically, and self-awareness. Now, if you guys would like to check this out, use code FALLRELEASE for a 15% off coupon at your purchase if you decide to buy something. It would mean a lot just for you to check it out and see what's going on in the store, and I really would appreciate it if you guys decided to check it out, and it means a lot to me. But otherwise, if you enjoy my YouTube channel, you can always subscribe here and, you know, sit around and, you know, talk about anime and manga with me, because I enjoy doing that on every now and again. Hopefully I'll end up becoming consistent again. No promises on when videos are coming out and like scheduled dates. We're gonna try to have a podcast out every week. Gonna try to get that on a schedule, but for the actual videos, I want to start going like really hard on the editing and make them something really unique and really special, so I don't want to put them on a scheduled time, so I have to feel like I need to rush it out, and I want to give it the proper time, develop it into something that's really special and really, really unique. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys checking out this video. If you do, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I will see you in another video.